Grandiose events in nature never cease to amaze, delight, and frighten us. The main thing is not just to be in the right place at the right time, but also to manage to capture all of this on camera. Today, in our 1-hour episode on the TopFacts channel, you will see incredible one-in-a-million moments in nature, the wrath of planet Earth, and even such things that even the most experienced skeptics will not be able to explain. These are 200 phenomena in the sky and in nature from the one-in-a-million series that no one was supposed to witness. A terrifying sight. It seems as though a huge tsunami is about to crash down on the rooftops. In fact, it is a tsunami cloud, a rare phenomenon that signals the approach of extreme weather conditions. If you notice something like this, quickly look for a safe shelter. The storm will definitely arrive. Number 9. A small avalanche swept across the territory of Trent Camp on Everest. Fortunately, its scale did not harm those who had set up camp there. Number 9. Visibility has already dropped nearly to zero, but the snow continues to fall. Now finding your way in this white maze becomes a very difficult task for drivers. The only way is to drive slowly and always be ready for surprises. The wind was howling, and the waves were crashing against the deck with such fury that they seemed to want to break the ship in the middle of the ocean. But its sturdiness and iron nerves can rival the power of the elements. Regardless of the strength of the waves, the ship remains stable on the waterline and continues forward. Here is a fitting motivational picture. Stay strong in spirit, and you will overcome any storm. Faced with pounding waves, these houses seem so tiny and helpless. Admit it, it is frightening to watch the sea take over the streets. And what if your house stood on one of them? A portal to another dimension opened on the Saint-Malo Dam in France. The real cause of this mysterious whirlpool is the collision of two opposing currents, creating a powerful vortex. This phenomenon usually occurs in narrow straits where strong tides arrive. They say that water can achieve its goal by any means. In this case, it was only a matter of time. The house was gradually undermined by the current and finally collapsed into the water in an instant. Another demonstration of the power of water, which is impossible to resist. A tornado column suddenly appeared on the highway, causing drivers to panic. Whatever happens, do not leave your car, try to remain calm, and find a safe shelter. Skiing in a snowstorm takes intense sensations to an entirely new level, making this already adrenaline-fueled sport even more extreme. Have you ever been caught in bad weather on a ski slope? The storm arrived like an uninvited guest and blew the trampoline right out of the yard. Life is always full of surprises, and we are only learning to be prepared to accept them, even if you have to watch in resignation as the storm frolics on your property. In the middle of a freezing lake, the author of this video was kayaking when they suddenly encountered a terrifying phenomenon. The thick ice instantly cracked into long shards. This is called the ice candle effect. They form when ice melts vertically, creating thin needle-like crystals. Ice candles appear in spring, when rising temperatures weaken the bonds within the ice mass. The structure of such needles is very fragile, but they are as sharp as broken glass, and therefore dangerous. Walking on the ice at this time is risky. Even the slightest agitation can lead to a sudden fracturing of the ice into crystals. And in general, if you are not sure about the stability of the surface under your feet, you should not step on it. A giant chunk of ice has just cracked and crashed into the water. Someone was lucky enough to capture this striking documentary moment on camera. Once again, Mother Nature amazes us with a breathtaking display of her incredible power. Observing glaciers is a thrilling experience. We just have to realize that in doing so, we are irretrievably losing our pristine reserve of fresh water on the planet. Nature's light shows will never cease to amaze us. The aurora is one of the most spectacular among them. Auroras occur in polar regions when electrically charged particles from the sun, known as the solar wind, collide with the Earth's magnetic field. They interact with oxygen and nitrogen and ignite, creating stunning colors. The aurora can paint the sky in green, red, and purple, depending on the type of gas and the altitude of the reaction. An unfinished house could not withstand the flow and collapsed under the onslaught of the flood. We hear the distressed exclamations of the residents. After all, construction materials cost something. Such a pillar from the sunset could very well remind one of a scene from a science fiction movie about a mysterious other planet. Powerful gusts of wind suddenly turn a cozy outdoor cafe into chaos. It all happens in a matter of seconds, and luckily, no one was hurt. Every second of filming this stunning panorama could become a great poster, and here we admire the process as nature paints pictures with the power of lightning. A moment not for the faint of heart. A man was standing next to a house when suddenly lightning struck right beside him. So he backed away in panic. Quite a stroke of luck. Here's another variant. A sudden flash of lightning lit up the house, causing it to catch fire instantly. Do not stand near windows or electrical appliances during a storm. Nummer 1. Taking shelter under a tree during a storm can be a dangerous decision. Tall trees work like natural lightning rods. They are more likely to attract lightning than to protect you from it. The rarest and most striking phenomenon occurs when the trunk of a tree ignites from within after a lightning strike. Lightning, which has a temperature 5 times higher than the surface of the sun, creates intense pressure inside the trunk. This causes the fire to rage inside, while the outside of the tree remains lush and green. Sometimes, this is exactly why an entire forest can burn to the ground in an instant. Let us hope that immediately after filming, the author of the video called the fire department. The sky over the city of Davenport in the state of Mississippi turned bright orange due to a large-scale fire caused by a lightning strike. What can we say? It looks beautiful, but it is not optimistic. Do you like fried bananas? But no, the lava spares no chance. It devours everything in its path. It is best to move to a safe distance, far from that infernal kitchen. While cars were drifting along in the black, murky waters of the flood, some people felt like that day was the end of the world. Yes, it is a heartbreaking scene, but remember, no matter how difficult it is, we can always get up and start. A trip on the 16th of September in the Chinese province of Lishan became an unforgettable experience for this driver when everything suddenly went wrong. More precisely, it went flying downhill. His ability to handle the situation is impressive. In the moment when one's heart should have frozen in fear, he quickly hit the brakes and held the wheel, perfectly controlling the situation, thus ensuring the safety of all passengers and the vehicle. Naturally, there were minor damages. The windshield and the side mirror were shattered by debris. But we give him a standing ovation. This episode is a good reminder that in such terrain, you need to be prepared for anything and keep a sharp eye on the road. The trip gave the creators of the video an unforgettable experience. They witnessed the moment when a section of cliff near Seatown suddenly collapsed into the sea, scattering dust and rocks around. Upon noticing the warning signs on the road, the drivers immediately stopped. Thanks to this, they avoided the approaching danger. but it was very close to trouble. A rock slide fell onto the supermarket parking lot. Dust and stones instantly covered the entire area. Fortunately, nobody was injured, including the cars. Nature chose a moment safe for people. Right now, we see the collapse of a cliff on the Kettle River. Not only a breathtaking moment, but also proof that nature constantly changes the landscape, and this usually happens without any hint or warning. A dust devil, a dry whirlwind, unexpectedly visited a garden in the suburbs of Japan. Although the owner of the video was shocked by the loss of crops, he still managed to capture the entire event on film. That shows the strong nerves of the Japanese. A violent hurricane suddenly struck Texas. We see people taking shelter in a Walmart supermarket. A security guard shouts, "Run, run," so that no one remains under the flying debris and structures. This scene resembles a real disaster movie. Would you have panicked as well? An epic show illuminating the sky. It is simply a reminder. Nature always knows how to demonstrate its capabilities at the right time. Tourists on the island of Cyprus were stunned by a water spout 100 meters tall. It formed when warm, moist air moved under a cold, dry air mass that led to the creation of a vortex. Look how ominously everything darkened around. The road was washed away by the flood. This is a wake-up call about the importance of building proper drainage systems. We must be prepared to respond to climate change, particularly sudden and rapid floods. It looks amazing, does it not? Here is what awaits you in the Brazilian national park, Lençóis Maranhenses. Quicksand is a mixture of sand, mud, clay, and still water. This phenomenon usually occurs in places with standing water or where there is groundwater. The surface may initially seem solid, but once you step on it, it becomes loose and soft. Once you are in this sand, you will slowly sink as the water and mud cannot support you. It may seem frightening, but in reality, you will only sink halfway, and you may even be pushed back up a bit. Without outside help, you would need about 100,000 newtons in units of pulling force just to pull out 1 foot from the sticky sand, about the same as it takes to lift a medium-sized car. A pleasant trip suddenly turns into a dangerous adventure when nature abruptly changes the scenario. Be mentally prepared that a vacation can go off plan, but sometimes life brings memorable impressions when we least expect it. Who is this mysterious prankster throwing tennis balls at the window of this house? The culprit behind the broken glass was hail in North Texas. Look at these giant spheres scattered everywhere. Fortunately, all of the farmers' horses were in their stables and remained safe. Sometimes the weather is such that instead of driving a car, it might be more fitting to navigate the streets by boat. A sudden mud flood struck the Kamisen region in Sweden in the form of muddy fountains. The event was recorded on camera by a local resident near her home. Fortunately, no one was injured except for minor damage to cars. A strange phenomenon of muddy hail was observed in Nebraska. We see how the flow spreads over vast areas at high speed. A sudden hailstorm turned the backyard into a shooting range. Everything that was lovingly created by the owners fell under fire. Now it is clear why they have metal furniture outdoors. I wonder if these clouds really intend to send a tornado funnel down to the ground or if they are just joking. For some reason, this driver's path unrelentingly intersects with the tornado's trajectory. It is as if they are magnetically drawn to each other. It would be wise for the eyewitness to stop filming in order to avoid a collision. The storm was so strong that in a fraction of a second, it flipped over a truck trailer. Fortunately, there was nobody in the vehicle, but we can only imagine the power of that wind. When the sky brings such a black cloud, it is clear that mercy is not to be expected from the coming storm. It is best to seek sturdy shelter and postpone all other matters. The most thrilling moment of the storm. If you thought that such things exist only in movies, have a look at this real situation. Remember, the key to safety is staying calm. Remain at home, find secure shelter, and wait for it to pass. A storm struck the small town of Westmoreland, and an ordinary day turned someone's life upside down. But if the dashcam had not recorded it, nobody would believe it was possible, in 10 seconds, to wipe 20 houses off the face of the earth. According to the National Weather Service, it was an EF3 tornado. Fortunately, thanks to the swift reaction of local residents, the damage was kept under control. Everything ended in the blink of an eye, but it stood as a clear reminder of the invincible power of nature. Vacationers on the beach are in a panic. They start running only at the moment when the fierce storm is already hitting the Italian resort, turning a peaceful holiday into chaos. How could it strike so suddenly that people did not react in time? A heavy rain turned the landscapes of Northern California into a scene of chaos, when a muddy flow descended onto the land and swept away everything in its path, including tall trees. How can we underestimate the power of nature after that? Many-ton mud flows flooded a residential area in southern Spain. Not just a natural flood, but a warning that the climate is changing under human influence. It is time for us to take measures to protect the environment and ourselves. A street becomes a full-flowing river of mud as floodwaters rush along this convenient channel. This situation vividly illustrates the saying, "You cannot pass or drive here." Plants also demonstrate the power of Mother Earth. That is the case when nature quickly takes over abandoned things. Any empty space is filled with life. It is a mystery how this tree survived. It has almost lost its connection to its roots. And this hanging tree does not even touch the ground. Apparently, it feeds spiritually. It is a heartbreaking sight to see old and mighty olive trees being consumed by fire from within. They were deliberately set ablaze for a good cause, because the entire olive plantation is threatened by a bacterium nicknamed the olive grove killer. In Italy alone, millions of plants could die from the infection. The strain quickly spreads through insects that carry the virus from one tree to another. If a tree is already infected, it must be destroyed along with neighboring groups. May big fish and small fish all be caught, or lots and lots of tiny ones. Oh, thank you. Fish can end up on the shore for various reasons. For example, dolphins sometimes herd schools of fish into shallow water, and a strong current can suddenly throw an entire shoal onto the beach. An amazing performance by humpback whales, but it is merely a unique way of feeding. They create underwater nets from bubbles of air, and these spirals rise to the surface, trapping schools of fish, ensuring plenty of easy prey in one place. Thus, they do not waste time gathering big portions. Plus, whales carry out these complex tasks using teamwork. They are truly efficient hunters. Abundant feeding for them means survival, since their stomach can hold from 500 to 600 kilograms of food. This astonishing effect is not a natural phenomenon, but is produced by microorganisms. Thanks to the bioluminescent properties of plankton, we find ourselves in a fantastic world. The glowing sea takes your breath away, and its glow is alive. The plankton, which is less than 5 millimeters in size, lights up brightly when something disturbs it. The breaking waves, or a touch. An excellent form of psychotherapy, right? It turns out that legends about dragons are pure truth. Only over time, the monsters have shrunk. It is incredible how nature instilled a sense of coordination in birds. When a flock gathers on a tree, you do not expect such a fountain of emotion. Scientists believe that this is how migration begins. Someone must give the signal, and this tree apparently serves as a general meeting point. This is not a ball for moths, but a party of bats. Before their nightly hunt, they circle near their daytime roost, apparently waiting for latecomers, so that they can all set off together in a terrifying ride of the Valkyries. Imagine what it would be like to be inside that cave at dusk when they wake up. The owner of this car needs a personal weather forecast. If in northern countries fishing tournaments are organized in winter on the ice, then in Asia, a peculiar regatta has to take place in murky water. This lake in Oregon is called Lost Lake. Indeed, there could be no better name for it. It is located in a nature park near Mount Jefferson, and every year this body of water undergoes a remarkable transformation. Winter streams turn it into a full-fledged lake, but in spring, almost all the water drains out through an opening about 2 meters in diameter, so essentially, the lake disappears. The reason is the unique terrain formed by ancient volcanoes. Beneath the lake lies a network of channels known as lava tubes. When there is plenty of water, these tubes fill up and maintain the water level. But as soon as the streams stop feeding the lake, all the water flows into this natural drain. You can see such whirlpools during tidal floods. A wave starts swirling because it mixes water with different characteristics. This is not ice or snow, but precipitation in the form of sea salt. Friends, if you like our content and you want to support us, then the very best thing you can do is to put a like or a dislike and write several comments for promotion. Thank you very much, and we continue.
日落，然后这边你看是彩云，然后刚下个雨还有彩虹。
This guy hit the jackpot. He saw and filmed 2 sunsets, a rainbow, and a lightning show all at once. Wow, what luck. It is unlikely that such a thing will ever happen before his eyes again. Have you ever seen anything similar? Unusual weather conditions in China and the refraction of light through ice crystals in the sky caused a rare natural phenomenon. Eyewitnesses felt awe while observing beautiful clouds. Someone called them rainbow fish, and someone claimed they looked like a dragon's head. What do you think?
You're here. Do it again.
There is so much electricity in this air that you could charge a phone. Do you know what this phenomenal place is? If so, let us know in the comments. Sometimes precipitation falls in an incomprehensible form. How do you like something between cotton candy and soapy foam?
I have never in my life seen anything like this.
Never in my life have I seen anything like this. Hail of such sizes tells me that having a covered garage is simply a necessity. Moreover, rain pours non-stop and breaks tree branches, tearing off leaves. Eyewitnesses cannot believe their eyes. I do not envy those who found themselves without shelter in such bad weather. It seems that the fury of nature only intensifies. The Great Smoky Mountains in the southeastern United States have become home to millions of fireflies. Unfortunately, their population is shrinking because there are not many places with virgin nature left on the planet. It is a pity, because watching such a miracle will never get old. Do not be afraid, this fish will not burst, even though it swells before your eyes like a soccer ball. It allows you to play with it, but such a reaction is a diversionary maneuver. In a moment of threat, it tries to deceive a potential predator by posing as an equal opponent. Or it becomes prey of an inaccessible size for a smaller hunter. A spiky ball cannot be swallowed. It is amazing how everything happens exactly the other way around. Underwater, air fills holes in the same way that on the Earth's surface water fills them. You can marvel at the endless wisdom of nature, play with them, and feel real happiness when you suddenly surface into a true air pocket in an underwater cave. Perhaps this is the luckiest fishing trip in the author's life. He does not even have to do anything. The fish jump on board by themselves. And this is how seabirds fish. They land an assault team. In March 2025, a 1,000-strong shoal of sardines was thrown onto a beach in India. Scientists said the rare phenomenon was caused by a change in water temperature. But for the locals, it looked like a miracle. Have you ever seen so many fish at once? A river of fish flowing in the desert suggests that all biblical prophecies must come true on schedule. Abundant gifts of the sea in the form of thousands of sardines continued all day. There is now so much fish that you can fill the freezers and not go fishing or to the market for a year. When you see such a burrow in the sand, it does not necessarily have to be a crab's home. There may well fit a well-fed octopus. Some potholes in roads are not just holes but lairs for huge snakes. That is not her problem that someone decided to build a road here. She is at home, and you will wait until she goes into her apartment. If you think there is nobody in beach sand, you are deeply mistaken. There are plenty of such long carnivorous worms. This bass performance is nothing other than an alligator's mating call. Apparently, he saw a suitable partner in the plot's author. Shall we dance? It is one thing when you pass by, and a huge alligator follows you with a steady gaze from the shore. Quite another when he quickly turns around and follows your boat. Feelings change instantly. If you are afraid of snakes, you had better skip this segment. You have never seen so many snakes in one place. And it is certainly not the most suitable place for a walk. It turns out that turtles can stack in piles and sleep, burying themselves in soft mud. Well, with such a long life, they have plenty of time to sleep. They keep advancing and advancing, simply a living plot from a Stephen King horror. And what if they all attack at once? Just one night of work, and a castle of webs covered all the Australian plains and roads. A colony of spiders regularly visits some regions to arrange an exhibition of such masterpieces of nature there.
Oh, my battery's dying.
Whale watching is mesmerizing. When they are this close, the boundary of reality blurs. You are as if in a fairy tale. But the instinct of self-preservation should still prompt that they can overturn your boat with one accidental movement. Therefore, it is good to know when it is time to steer home.
Oh my gosh. Should we move? Oh God, he's on the boat. Okay, maybe we should move.
All means are good in fishing. Someone uses a rod and someone uses a paw. Tourists had to share this pool with a polar bear, and it seems the stick did not scare him at all. Keep in mind, sometimes the goals of people and animals coincide. Everyone wants fish, not a fight.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
These guys got a charge of positive emotions when they went to explore the expanses in a hot air balloon. They even managed to observe a real safari. The sight of a running herd undoubtedly charges you with untamed life energy. And besides, it is much safer than watching such an event from the ground. I can imagine the noise, dust, and pounding there. Even if you travel in an aircraft at a great height, be ready for company. A bird decided to rest in flight. Right. Why flap wings if you can simply perch on someone's tail? The 29th of January, 2020 was a terrible day for Houston. Thousands of birds collapsed on the city, filling everything. No one knows the reason for this curse. Perhaps you can clarify the situation? Comment and share your thoughts. Can you imagine wind so strong that it carries away an entire waterfall? On the right, you can see the Ram Waterfall, which is 300 meters high, and the squally wind that turns this stretch of road into a scene from an apocalyptic movie. It literally blows the water streams sideways. Surf waves mercilessly smash boats against the coastal rocks. It is painful to watch, but you cannot help. Apparently, calm seas are usual in this area. It is hard to believe that wind power can move this liner that weighs 230,000 tons. The wind pushes it like a toy. It decided to crash 2 ships and achieved this.
Kissing it. Oh, connection, baby.
When a powerful storm hit a Scottish harbor, It seemed that the ferry also did not want to stay on the water and tried to park on the shore. Can you believe that such waves can be on a river? It is really so, and the reason was a very close passage of the moon near Earth. That is what caused such a fantastic tide. Where did this lively fountain come from? Surely there must be a spring under this dry tree. How do you think this could have happened? Share your thoughts in the comments. This wonderful tree is not from a fairy tale. It grows in Madagascar, and its magical pattern is provided by a colony of fungi that have occupied such a convenient space. We do not know whether the tree feels good with these fungi, but the fungi clearly thrive. What is wrong with these trees? Are they angry, or do they have something to say to the world? As the saying goes, it is piled up. This video is a nightmare for allergy sufferers. There is so much pollen on these trees that visibility disappears, and even those who have never suffered from allergies will start sneezing. In Taiwan, you can see a unique phenomenon, a mud volcano that spews methane. Do not stand close. It is a dangerous show.
Oh my God.
These people were boating, admiring the beauty of the canyon walls, when suddenly it seemed to decide to please them even more and showed how an entire layer collapsed. The delight was boundless, and only an experienced guide who saw the big wave rolling straight at them kept repeating, "Back up, back up." Carelessness in nature is an unaffordable luxury because any unplanned event has consequences.
Back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up.
The Bogdanovich Glacier in Kazakhstan is one of the remarkable tourist destinations where you can observe truly unearthly landscapes. This is not a flight of ghosts. Just an updraft regularly arises in this hole, so the author of the video was not afraid to part with his thing. He knew it would be returned soon. Even from afar, this tornado looks rather sinister. What would you feel if you knew it was where your friends and neighbors live? It is high time to start worrying, as the authors of this video say. They hope their loved ones are all right.
I feel bad. It should be north of her place.
Watching a tornado is full of adrenaline when it is right over your head and can move closer at any second. So while we have these seconds, we do not waste time and aim for online fame. We film an amazing video. In 2019, a huge tornado rose over the countryside in Romania. A powerful air vortex lifted huge clouds of dust into the sky for hundreds of meters. A sight more typical of the American plains than of European nature. This tornado hunter shows us his fearlessness and luck. Few manage to intersect paths with a hurricane and part peacefully. Would you dare to rush into the thick of events?
Oh, that is scary. Oh my gosh. Woo! Look at that.
This eyewitness filmed the breath of the earth. Can you imagine what will happen if it decides to sneeze? I would never have believed that this was possible if it had not repeated several times. Are trees capable of moving on their own? Of course, it is large layers of soil sliding, but it all looks quite a bird. Where your car was a few seconds ago is now a pile of earth. This driver manages to quickly get away from the landslide in reverse, but we do not know how the neighboring car fared. If I were in those guys' place, I would not stand so close. Where does such confidence come from that everything will be fine if a landslide starts right above your head? Continuous rains in Southern California triggered several landslides that eventually blocked roads, swallowing the infrastructure underneath. It does not look so scary, but if you imagine that all the roadways were buried under slurry, it becomes unnerving. That feeling when the ground slips out from under your feet, carrying trees away whole and almost taking your van. A landslide is when you lose your footing. It is amazing how people are drawn to natural incidents. Look how briskly they run to the landslide to film it. One should think about how firm the ground they are standing on is. What if it can also slide down like a sliced piece of cake? Why do men, as a rule, have a shorter life expectancy? Surely because they think filming landslides on their phones is a good idea, although the best option would be to get away from it. Would you also first run to film all this? And in Italy, an entire patch of meadow with a tree slid down like a green carpet. Now it can cover the bald spot on a neighbor's plot.
Guarda che là c'è l'acqua sotto. Fiume.
This crater is called the Door to Hell, and it seems that it is wide open and entry is free around the clock. Residents of Hawaii sometimes get the chance to watch lava flows right from their backyard. That is exactly what happened to the person who filmed this video, an impressive fountain. Here before us is a calm pier scene, and a second later, a catastrophe. The boat is gone in an instant, yet millions of viewers got bright footage and convincing arguments about how dangerous a thunderstorm is. The holiday turned out bright but short. The whole family had to evacuate. Do not worry, no one was hurt, but they certainly had a good scare. In 2024, heavy rains provoked a huge landslide in Peru, and the ground literally split into dozens of pieces, the largest crack stretching for 2 kilometers. It turns out our idea of solid ground is shaky. A stunning show. The eruption of the Hunga volcano, which was so powerful that the shockwave was felt in 11 neighboring countries. This guy decided to test the lava. Maybe he had potatoes with him and was hungry? You can roast anything on such coals, but it is better to keep away from a river of fire. This is what a rockfall looks like in all its glory. View from above, view from below. From below, of course, it is safer to observe, but from above, more spectacular.
This is how a rock slide looks.
An earthquake of magnitude 7.5 on the Richter scale tears asphalt like wet paper towel. It is not easy to walk on such a surface. You are thrown from side to side all the time, and at any moment, a large crack may open under your feet. A rooftop pool is a luxurious structure, but it is completely unprepared for a strong earthquake. The water sloshes out, like from a shaking cup. The main thing is not to be inside it at that moment. And now let us move from nature toward mysticism and observe in the sky such things that no one can explain. All around the globe, news is spreading about mass sightings of mysterious flying objects. People in different corners of the planet are increasingly noticing blinking lights and silhouettes that seem to violate the usual laws of physics. And here is a new sensation. In the very heart of Washington, not far from the Capitol, eyewitnesses spotted an entire group of strange lights. They remained motionless in the sky and even changed color. Skeptics immediately started talking about airplane lights, but official representatives did not confirm this version. Experts rushed to explain everything as optical reflections, but many are convinced that there is something more behind it. Some have suggested there is a cover-up, hinting that the events are being carefully concealed. While the public was trying to make sense of the first mysterious lights over the Capitol, another video from Washington surfaced online. In it, a strange formation of glowing dots appeared in the night sky, reminiscent of an encoded message. Some made out something like symbols or letters in the arrangement of the lights. Others decided that it was a kind of language through which attempts are being made to communicate with us. Among local residents, anxiety is growing. Have we really witnessed a genuine attempt at contact between unknown forces and humanity? But it is not only the Capitol that has found itself in the spotlight. The state of New Jersey has also been swept by a wave of mysterious sightings. Residents watch with amazement as bright objects hover at low altitude, emitting a humming sound completely unlike that of an ordinary drone. Eyewitnesses claim that some of these craft were almost the size of a car. Some are sure these are flying ships from other worlds, while experts stubbornly insist they are advanced drones. However, the picture became even more complicated when other witnesses captured objects of an entirely different type. Flashing lights not typical of airplanes or helicopters. City dwellers in New Jersey continue to find more and more evidence. One of the videos recorded an entire scattering of lights as though they were suspended in the night sky. They barely moved, giving onlookers time to examine them and conclude that they might not be just unmanned craft. Many are beginning to suspect that something extraterrestrial is clearly involved. There is a theory that the objects have an energy field that allows them to hover motionless or hide from human eyes. The next incident astonished everyone who happened to be on the road in New Jersey at the time. A driver noticed a group of strange lights moving in unison, as though they were a single entity. People wonder, what kind of craft has such an unusual shape, since no known airplane has contours like that? Theories abound, from military force developments to direct intervention by extraterrestrial technology. And when airplane passengers filmed a similar formation from above, it raised even more questions. And here is yet another episode. Two friends went out for a walk and spotted something colossal in the sky, resembling a giant drone. According to them, this craft was the size of a bus. No commercial or amateur drone can match those dimensions. Guesses immediately arose. Might it be a secret military development? Or perhaps humans have learned to use knowledge obtained from certain guests? While official agencies remain stubbornly silent, the public is drowning in speculation. In the town of Mendham, New Jersey, a reporter and colleagues caught on camera a cloud of such an unusual shape that it resembled a transparent film rippling in the air. It gave the impression of being made of water or a similar substance. The most striking hypothesis is that it was an attempt to camouflage some flying object. Supporters of extraterrestrial theories are convinced that this air film is the result of invisibility technology used to hide a craft from prying eyes. The next recording left even seasoned lovers of everything strange at a loss for words. The video shows an object with a barely visible shimmer, resembling a force field. By the end of the clip, it transforms into an even circle around the object itself, as if generating an invisible barrier. Could this be a shield for protection against external influences, a camouflage system, or even a portal? It is hard to imagine what technologies might be in use if this is indeed alien. And here is an episode that alarmed many. Footage appears of some aircraft emitting laser beams. The initial explanation was that this might be a military helicopter conducting exercises with tracer rounds. But experts refuted that hypothesis, noting that what was captured on video does not resemble the usual tracers. Once again, the question arises. Could this be a demonstration of an otherworldly weapon, or perhaps a mysterious military project under the strictest secrecy? Two friends, returning home, suddenly saw a classic flying saucer in the night sky, covered in blinking lights. According to them, it looked as though it was preparing to land. The girls kept filming until the object disappeared from view somewhere beyond the horizon. Naturally, everyone wondered, where exactly did it land and what or who could have been aboard this mysterious craft? Sudden interference on radio stations added even more mystery to the city. There were rumors of a strange pulsing sound on the air. Then came the shocking news of a plane crash, blamed on the unidentified flying objects that appeared in the sky. The public was gripped by genuine horror. It seems it is no longer limited to harmless sightings. Are we facing something far more dangerous? In one district, a crowd of people gathered, looking at an unusual spectacle in the sky, bright parallel bands of light. Then a second trail of light suddenly appeared, which suggested there were two objects. Suddenly they disappeared, as if dissolving into thin air. It gives the impression that these were deliberate, coordinated actions by some force that wants to warn us or is simply teasing humanity, appearing and disappearing at will. A passenger on a routine commercial flight from Chicago to Newark looked out the window and saw a group of strange lights high above the clouds. They remained in place even as darkness fell. Why did they linger there so persistently without hiding? Perhaps they were observing human activity. There are many questions and no clear answers. An eyewitness from an apartment in Houston noticed a mysterious violet glow, as though slicing through the sky and extending toward the ground. The sight was so fantastic that some concluded it marked the start of large-scale alien infiltration and that they had already begun active operations. In one Russian city, a resident accidentally filmed a bright vertical beam coming down from the sky. When the recording spread across the internet, there were those who called it an atmospheric phenomenon. But others believed that it was an abduction of people or even a hostile alien attack. No one can say for sure what it really was, but many fear that this is only the beginning of massive events. On social media, another video began to be discussed, showing a strange airplane with an unusual shape flying across the sky. Its sound was much louder than that of typical aircraft. People immediately recalled the mythical triangular craft that some believe to be a military development and others consider a hybrid of alien and earthly technologies. Whatever it is, the uproar around what is happening is not subsiding. In Poland, a camera captured an object resembling a chaotic pile of metallic elements. Some joked that it was a flying castle straight out of science fiction films. When a second, clearer video emerged, the situation became even more puzzling. No hot air balloons or known devices matched the description. There were no sounds, and the edges of the object looked sharp and angular. In one province of Vietnam, friends noticed right in front of them 2 black shapes, frozen in midair. Someone speculated that these were flying objects that had run out of power and were hanging there, waiting for assistance. Others claimed that the sky itself seemed to be tearing apart. A driver traveling through Arizona's desert region came upon a terrifying sight. A shiny metallic sphere was hovering silently and motionless in the sky above a solitary building. Many were intrigued by the building itself. It could be a secret laboratory conducting experiments on anti-gravity craft. Some are convinced that such technologies could not have arisen through human genius alone. Seeing triple lights in the sky, a resident of Tula, a city outside the United States, immediately decided it did not resemble an airplane. There was no sound at all from the object. Local authorities shrugged and claimed they knew nothing about it, while townspeople continued to puzzle over whether it was secret testing or proof of a visit by alien guests. The following video took social networks by storm with its peculiarity. The footage shows something that does not look like a standard drone or aircraft. Its outlines were so fantastic that viewers began talking about an alien invasion. But if it truly is an extraterrestrial craft, why was it so boldly flying over a heavily populated area in Florida? In the state of Texas, an amateur astronomer was observing the moon through a telescope when he suddenly noticed an object that seemed to peek out from behind the lunar disk. The footage was so astonishing that people immediately assumed it was a massive mother station hiding in the shadow of our satellite. No one knows how seriously to take such guesses, but one fact remains. More than 1 or 2 individuals saw this sight. It was witnessed by several people, which only intensifies the intrigue. In Argentina, a hovering metallic object of strange shape was filmed in the sky, appearing completely motionless. Many felt that it was floating in defiance of the laws of physics, occasionally changing the angle of a light reflection. Even more of a stir was caused by the new appearance of a whole group of such flying objects in various parts of the country. A theory emerged that it was a mass resettlement of aliens who suddenly decided to leave their former base. But why now? Residents of one Chinese city saw a sharply outlined square cloud in broad daylight. Over time, its edges began to change, as though someone were slowly stretching the structure. Official sources called it a rare meteorological phenomenon. However, ufologists are convinced that under such a cloud, there might have been a real ship using some form of camouflage technology. A long, cigar-shaped aircraft was spotted in the sky over Ohio. By a stroke of luck, there was a military fighter jet there at the same time that appeared to hurry in for an intercept. Eyewitnesses were stunned by the size of the object. They had never seen a design like that in any plane before. Naturally, talk immediately turned to experimental developments carried out in deserts around secret bases. But if so, why hide out in plain sight? A driver traveling on a night highway in Oregon noticed a sinister crimson glow to the side, blinking and seemingly drawing attention to itself. He posted the video online and asked if anyone knew what it might be. There were plenty of answers, but none gave a clear explanation. Some believe it is a divine sign, while others are convinced it is a signal from extraterrestrials. In the state of New York, an airplane passenger noticed an entire fleet of mysterious dots outside the window. They did not show any aggression, but accompanied the plane without changing course. Why did they choose to fly alongside it, all the while remaining calm? Were they evaluating our advanced technology or just being curious? During a live weather forecast, an undefined shape suddenly lit up over a city and froze overhead. Many decided it was an optical effect. But conspiracy theorists are already convinced. We are under constant supervision. We just do not notice it. In one video, a whole tableau of lights is visible. Some burned brightly, others glimmered mysteriously on the horizon. The combination of lights made viewers wonder whether the very celestial sphere was collapsing, opening up other dimensions to us. A fisherman, planning a normal day by the water, suddenly witnessed a bright orb burst out from beneath the surface and shoot into the sky at incredible speed. The possibility of a rocket launch was dismissed immediately, since that would require submarines and a whole infrastructure. As a result, many suggest these are alien technologies capable of moving through both air and water. In one Czech town, residents at a late hour saw a blue glow, as though slicing through the sky. Upon closer inspection, it turned out to be a vertical beam directed straight at the ground. Then rumors spread that an entire district had vanished or become inaccessible. The panic is fueled by the silence of the authorities. Did some force manage to wipe a town off the map? A resident of Kuala Lumpur managed to film a round flying structure dimly illuminated by lights, which did not move or descend. Immediately there were guesses. Is this a portal, opened either by humans or by those who have observed us for a long time? Legends have circulated for ages about black triangular craft that supposedly move slowly and silently above the earth. A new video recording shows a similar object gliding without a sound and with smooth motion. Some believe it to be a military force invention. Others say it is a genuine visitor from space that has been here for a long time and only occasionally emerges to conduct reconnaissance. A family went on an outing in nature and noticed a cloud in the sky that was anything but ordinary. Zooming in with the camera, it became evident that this was a round object with a metallic sheen, calmly hanging in the sky. Why would it appear in broad daylight, above a place full of vacationers? Some say maybe it is trying to establish contact, or, on the contrary, it is searching for something on our planet. A group of friends went on a hiking trip and saw a huge dark object on the horizon. It seemed to hover there, studying the surroundings. After a while of remaining in one place, it abruptly took off and disappeared so quickly that the camera failed to catch the details. There are far too many questions and not a single convincing answer. In one populated area, residents saw a flying craft that did not even attempt to hide behind the clouds. It floated very low, neither moving forward nor backward. Could it have been collecting information? Or was it searching for something or someone? Rumors about a missing pilot from another world instantly flooded local social media. A video recording from nearly 40 years ago, made in São Paulo, still puzzles researchers. In the footage, a round object in the sky suddenly begins changing shape, as though spikes appear around its edges. Back then, it caused a real sensation because such behavior contradicted common sense and the usual laws of aerodynamics. At one location, according to eyewitness accounts, a frightening-looking craft with sharp protrusions was captured on film. Suddenly, two glowing orbs flew out from it and then returned, merging again into a single whole. Some observers call it something demonic rather than an unidentified flying object, but everyone agrees on one thing. Such behavior is not typical of ordinary airplanes or drones. These phenomena have now swept across all continents. In central London, in broad daylight, a round hovering object appeared. It made no sound and had a mirror-like sheen. Random witnesses were left bewildered, asking, have extraterrestrials become so bold that they no longer bother hiding? A commercial pilot in Manchester noticed a small sphere right near the runway. According to him, it was the size of a car and had neither wings nor any visible devices. When security personnel approached, the sphere shot skyward at incredible speed and vanished. Even the most convinced skeptics admitted that such cases had not been encountered before. Another incident from Paraguay. Eyewitnesses saw a cloud that suddenly lit up, releasing glowing orbs as though they were bombarding the surroundings. But the orbs quickly disappeared without causing any damage. The question is, was this a planned warning? Or were the unknown pilots searching for something, releasing small probes? Someone saw a distinct black outline in the clear sky hanging motionless over the city. Some thought it looked like a bird frozen in flight. On the internet, people joked about a matrix glitch, but others are certain it was yet another demonstration of anti-gravity technology. In the skies over a place called Do Palos, anomalous things have been happening for many years. One of the recordings shows a bright flash among the clouds, and when zoomed in, you can see a round craft seemingly emitting a glow. Local residents constantly share creepy stories, and eyewitnesses swear that this is a clear manifestation of something not of this world. In Indonesia, next to a large cumulus cloud, there appeared a perfectly round cavity with a glowing rim. At first, it seemed to be just an unusual cloud, but upon closer inspection, it looked like a portal or a domed structure. Some theorists propose that such openings are created by experiments with space, possibly by forces beyond our control. One individual, glancing out the window, noticed dancing lights. At first, there were two moving points, then a third joined them. They twirled and flashed, as if performing some ritual dance. For some, it brought to mind the afterlife and souls rising upwards. For others, it fueled yet more conversations about portals. Residents of Assam in India were literally petrified when they saw a disc hovering motionless at a considerable height in the sky. No one heard any engine sounds or saw any flashes. Many believe this is the most credible proof of the presence of alien forces, because similar objects have recently been spotted not only in this region, but all over the globe. One evening in Canada, people stepped outside and saw a radiant circle in the sky that resembled a portal from a science fiction movie. It glowed with a bright blue light, like a lantern against the night's darkness. But the most shocking part was that soon a second, much larger circle appeared nearby. From the smaller portal to the larger one shot the same blue beam, as if some kind of energy transfer were happening. All of this lasted only briefly. Both fiery circles disappeared as suddenly as they had appeared, leaving the witnesses to wonder what they had just seen. On a sunny day in Costa Rica, passers-by tilted their heads back and froze. High among the clouds, a circle began to pulse, seeming alive as it shimmered with an unearthly glow. The edges of this portal shone so brightly that it felt as though the sky itself was about to open up. People watched with a mix of awe and wonder, asking themselves whether what was happening might be a sign of something far greater than we can imagine. On one particular evening in Toronto, two huge glowing circles appeared, hovering side by side. They were so bright that they seemed almost unreal. Small rays of light along their edges slid smoothly, as if displaying some kind of hypnotic illumination. For some, this sparked excitement. For others, it provoked fear. What if this was not just an optical illusion, but, for instance, an entrance to another dimension? Residents of Taiwan witnessed how, in a cloudless sky, a gigantic shining circle suddenly appeared. It was as though the vault of heaven had opened, allowing streams of light to pass through. Some are convinced that the phenomenon had extraterrestrial origins, while others consider it an interdimensional portal leading to parallel worlds. The debate continues even now. Is it mysticism or a rare natural occurrence? In the darkness of the night sky, a spiral appeared, like a rotating vortex. As people gazed more closely, it became evident that in the center there seemed to be a tiny opening from which a blinding white energy began to pour. Many speculated that this was a portal to distant corners of space or perhaps a passageway for alien visitors, but what it actually was remains a mystery. A highly debated video has circulated online, allegedly filmed in rural Canada in the year 2021. It shows something round and fiery, somewhat reminiscent of our sun, but it looks as though flames are dancing around it. Suddenly, this object explodes, leaving behind a dazzling flash. Some say it is all a clever fake, while others are certain that the camera accidentally captured something taking place in another galaxy. In the northern regions of Canada, drivers traveling peacefully along a deserted highway suddenly witnessed a blue spiral appearing right in the night sky. It sparkled and swirled as if it were a portal from science fiction. At first, everyone thought of an unidentified flying object, but experts explained that the cause might have been a fuel dump by the SpaceX rocket, which created spirals of icy crystals in the atmosphere. Either way, it is a truly rare sight that very few people get to see with their own eyes. Something absolutely unexplainable happened over Manchester. A dim but extremely fast orb appeared in the sky, seemingly eluding military fighter jets with ease. No matter how fast they attempted to pursue it, the object always slipped away, changing trajectory with incomprehensible agility. After a while, both the orb and the planes vanished in the distance, leaving the city's residents utterly perplexed. During a regular match on an open field, everyone's attention shifted from the game to the sky. There, a massive dark silhouette suddenly emerged. It seemed to swallow a portion of the sky, even though no engines could be heard. Some believed it was a triangular shape with lights around its edges, while others claimed it was more like a gigantic flying saucer. As soon as people grasped the scale of what they were seeing, the object shot away at lightning speed. During twilight above one of the Spanish provinces, eyewitnesses filmed a flying disc with bright green lights around its perimeter. It moved silently and smoothly, more like gliding than flying. Only a moment later, the object soared upward at tremendous speed and vanished into the darkness. No explanation was ever found. A strange dark mass appeared over Sydney, unlike any familiar clouds. It seemed to shimmer with a metallic hue hanging low over the water. People speculated that it was an unidentified flying object or some kind of pollution. Later, experts reported that it was a so-called scud cloud, a rare meteorological formation. But that did not make it look any less mysterious. In the remote forests of Brazil, witnesses saw something resembling a glowing portal between the trees. At first, it merely flickered quietly, but then an object with a metallic sheen reminiscent of an aircraft emerged noiselessly from it. Some are convinced that this was not just any craft, but something interdimensional, entering from a parallel reality. At dawn in Belgium, a woman noticed 3 enormous glowing orbs moving in a straight line across the sky. Each orb was so large and bright that it lit up the surroundings like a spotlight. The sight was so unreal that it lingered in the memory of those who saw it for a long time. Over Cape Town, a colossal cloud-like figure hovered motionless in the clear sky. Its size left no doubt. This was not just an unusual cloud. No sounds could be heard, and the object seemed not to intend moving at all. Some decided it was a rare weather anomaly, while others believed it was something extraterrestrial. In the Hampton Roads region, people noticed a perfectly shaped black ring in the sky. It simply hung over the city, neither drifting nor breaking apart. At first, witnesses thought it must be smoke or some other atmospheric phenomenon, but no suitable explanation was found. The ring vanished as silently as it had appeared. The night sky over Chicago was lit up by a bright meteor, leaving a fiery tail behind it. Scientists explain that such celestial guests consist of metallic and rocky fragments that have traveled from the distant reaches of space. Sometimes they burn up completely in the atmosphere, but there are cases in which pieces reach the ground, opening up new opportunities for research. Early one morning in Norway, people saw a small blue glow that, a few moments later, expanded into a huge spiral and then seemed to be pulled into a dark funnel at its center. This phenomenon stirred the entire country, especially when the military confirmed that it happened near their base. It turned out that it was caused by an unsuccessful rocket launch, which left behind such mesmerizing patterns. Even so, the sight brought to mind wild fantasies about parallel realities. In the year 2019, in the state of Kentucky, a man filmed a mysterious sphere in the bright blue sky. At first, he thought it was the moon, but the object looked more like a metallic ball reflecting the sun's rays. Also captured were smoky trails in the sky, and now people argue about whether this sphere was linked to the formation of those trails, or whether it could have been a simple weather balloon. On one of the December days in the year 2009, before sunrise, a magnificent glowing vortex appeared in the sky over Norway. People rushed outside, trying to understand what was happening. Some thought about weapons experiments. Others suspected otherworldly involvement. The phenomenon became one of the most memorable and sparked a wave of rumors and legends. And though an official explanation about a rocket launch later emerged, many still do not believe that such a perfect spiral could form by mere chance. At the beginning of April in the year 2023, a pulsing circular flash was recorded in the sky above China. It felt as though a portal had opened, trembling and changing shape. No one actually saw any craft emerge from it, but observers unanimously stated that the experience was extremely mystical. Some explained it as rare weather conditions, while others sincerely believed in alien technologies. A man relaxing alone in his yard noticed high above him a source of bright, iridescent light patches. The object glided smoothly, creating incredible patterns of light. The recordings turned out quite detailed, but even upon zooming in, it was not clear whether this was an advanced drone or something extraterrestrial. The sight was both mesmerizing and slightly eerie at the same time. On a home camera in Palm Coast, 2 bright spheres can be clearly seen, moving swiftly across the night sky. They moved in sync, as though following a single plan. Both disappeared as abruptly as they had appeared. The owner of the footage was left completely perplexed, trying to figure out what his camera had captured. A group of passers-by witnessed the appearance of several bright orange orbs. At first, people saw only a couple of objects, but then more appeared, and they even formed a triangle. Someone heard a barely audible noise. Some decided they might be sky lanterns, but the shape and speed of movement raised many questions. On an otherwise calm night, there was suddenly a brilliant flash that cut through the clouds like a laser beam. It vanished in a fraction of a second, leaving behind a brief, blinding trail. Skeptics thought it was a meteor, while believers in extraterrestrial explanations were sure that our guests simply displayed their technological might. In one small village, people were shocked to see, between the telephone wires in the sky, some kind of strange, living figure. It floated there, without moving its wings. The dark silhouette seemed to defy earthly gravity. It looked as though this being was not from our world, and some concluded it had come from another dimension. To this day, no one has provided a coherent explanation of this phenomenon. A passenger flying over the Atlantic Ocean filmed something strange outside the window. At first, it seemed to be another airplane, but it suddenly began making sharp maneuvers. It would stop in midair, then fly off at staggering speed, come back again, and nearly line up with the passenger plane. Then it zoomed off into the distance. No one could understand which type of craft could perform such stunts. A man was enjoying the view from his balcony when he noticed a long, silent shape in the sky, slowly moving from the northwest to the southwest. He recorded it on his phone, trying to zoom in, but never managed to get a clear idea of what it was. Some are sure it was an unidentified flying object, while others think it was a drone or a military test vehicle. While flying over Japan, airplane passengers noticed a gigantic vertical object hovering among the clouds. By its shape, it looked like a giant tower or a pyramid suspended in the air. Some speculated that it was volcanic ash, but there had been no registered eruptions. Thus, the source of the mysterious skyscraper remains undisclosed. A photographer from Guilford County, North Carolina, intended to capture beautiful landscapes, but in the frame appeared a strange, elongated object, shaped like a capsule, which at times flickered or glimmered with a metallic sheen. It was at an altitude comparable to commercial airliners. In slow-motion footage, it is clear that the ends of the object shimmer, while the central part reflects the sun's rays. In Scotland, in the year 2019, a witness recorded on a mountainside a figure that people called the Rainbow Angel. It looked as though the interplay of light and shadow created the silhouette of a winged being right before one's eyes. Many were reminded of biblical associations, since there are legends that saints or angelic beings can appear in such rays. But is it a supernatural sign, or just a rare natural effect? In Florida, late at night, a bright streak suddenly appeared, racing through the sky like a comet. However, it did not vanish the way meteors normally do, and it traveled much more steadily. People offered theories. Could it be yet another rocket test or a satellite's trail? But no official information followed, leaving room for fantastical guesses. On a clear day, a figure appeared in the sky, wrapped in something like a cloak, with an unusual halo shining around it. None of the onlookers could properly tell if it was a human or a being from another world. Some said things like this appear at points of energy anomalies, while others insisted it was just a trick of the eyes. An Australian driver traveling along a highway saw how, through the gray clouds, a bright beam suddenly broke through, quickly changing shape and increasingly resembling the silhouette of an enormous winged creature. It shifted each moment as if alive, and people nearby did not immediately comprehend what they were seeing. Someone said, maybe it is a sign or a deity, but the mystery remained unsolved. Against the backdrop of a storm cloud, a person noticed something resembling a winged being. But the strangest part was that it looked as though it had only one wing, and in the figure's hand, one could discern something resembling a sword. In a matter of seconds, the cloud shifted, and everything vanished. The witness recounted that he had never seen anything like it before and was left shaken by the experience. In Turkey, from the roof of a tall building, someone filmed an amazing flying being whose wings glowed with a soft radiance. No body could be made out, but the wingspan was astounding. Was it a bird? Or truly, an angel? The footage was too mysterious to give a definite answer. Many leaned toward believing it was something supernatural. During a severe thunderstorm in China, a cameraman filming weather phenomena noticed the silhouette of a giant dragon. Lightning revealed its contours in the billowing clouds. It looked as though the creature was either hovering or hanging motionless in midair. Ancient Chinese legends describe dragons as guardians of the heavens, and after seeing such footage, one might be inclined to believe there is some truth to those myths. On the shore of a quiet bay, people noticed an enormous figure in the water with 3 supports extending deep into the sea. The structure stood upright and emitted a strange, eerie sound before disappearing. Some thought it was an extraterrestrial device. Others guessed it was a sea monster unknown to science. To this day, there is no single agreed-upon explanation. In the sky over Belarus, a few people saw something resembling a giant glowing jellyfish with a translucent body and long tentacles that swayed gently in the wind. Is it a product of imagination or a genuine airborne life form? It looks like the plot of a nightmare film about alien invasions, yet the video seems quite convincing. One night over southwestern Australia, an incredibly bright meteor streaked across the sky at an astonishing speed of about 20 kilometers per second. Scientists at a university began searching for possible fragments, hoping to learn more about the history of the formation of the solar system. Such natural fireworks remind us how dynamic and full of surprises space can be. In the Mexican state of Tlaxcala, people saw a 7-pointed star peacefully hovering in the sky. It seemed stationary, but upon closer observation, a large triangular shadow appeared nearby. Whether it was a manifestation of a natural anomaly or a trace of some advanced technology, we may never know. In a photo taken by an eyewitness, strange vertical pillars are shown rising above the clouds, apparently glowing from within. Internet users immediately speculated that it might be a transparent platform belonging to extraterrestrials, which accidentally became visible due to a malfunction in their cloaking systems. Admittedly, that theory is fantastical, but the image does look striking. In Nevada, a trucker who had stopped for lunch happened to notice a huge spherical object hovering over a deserted area. It was completely smooth, with no hatches or lights, and it seemed to be searching for a landing spot. What he saw ignited a lively debate among witnesses. Some are sure it was genuine contact with an alien intelligence. Others propose more mundane explanations. But the video truly stretches the imagination. Well, on this note, our 1-hour episode comes to an end. These were 1 in a million moments in nature and in the sky. If you liked it and you want to see the next part, something similar, then write about it in the comments. Put likes, subscribe to the channel, and right now, write the keyword Raketa in the comments. That way I will know that you watched right to the very end. Thank you all very much for watching, and next, watch one of the 2 appearing videos.